It starts with a shocking scene. Most of them didn't even get a chance to react before they were killed. Moreover, none of these bodies belonged to the enemy. Were they ambushed by several extremely skilled martial masters all at once? Who could have done this, and why? He gulped in fear. Let's figure out the situation first. I have to at least take back some clue. He walked in fear. Ping. Suddenly there was a sound behind like whoosh. A trap. He moves with lightning speed. Phew. Dodged it. Dodged it. Had I been slower, I would have. He was just thinking. Suddenly there was sound of clack under his feet. What? His leg was caught in a trap. He shouted with pain. What's going on? Don't tell me. Do they set another trap expecting I'd dodge the first one? What kind of bullshit is this? The scene changes and we see two men running. Boss, Sir Jongpil hasn't joined up with us yet. The boss shouted in anger. I know, you bastard. So what? Do you want to turn back around? It's just an old man, a bitch, and some countryside martial academy disciples. We can handle them without the others. Just take it from their compensation. This request we had gotten wasn't something we could refuse from the start. But how much further are these guys going to go until they take a break? The senior disciple uses his sharp ears to hear from long distance. 4 people are chasing after us about half a mile away. According to Murioke, only 5 of them were left, meaning that only 1 had gone to MT, Xiaoyao. I had set up enough traps to handle 20 people easily, just in case, so it's a little disappointing. The 5th man was lying dead, covered in blood and arrows. One of the disciple riding carriage said, Senior disciple. It's been 4 hours since we started our journey, but we haven't seen anyone yet. Doesn't that mean those guys from the Blood Wolves stronghold have given up? Senior disciple said, Right, those guys are waiting for the moment someone like you would lower their guards. They're always looking for an opportunity, so keep an eye out. Yes, they say. They're looking for an opportunity? Those bastards never do that. They always attack right away as soon as the enemy is discovered. But something must have happened. Senior disciple felt something strange. Stop the horde, he yelled. What, so suddenly? Miss Hay isn't breathing well. Hurry and stop. They opened the door of the carriage and saw Miss Hay on the floor gasping heavily. Miss Hay. Senior disciple checked her pulse. Since her body is weak, it seems like she was exhausted after traveling so long in the carriage. The old man said she was undoubtedly pushed herself too far. Despite her weak constitution, she hasn't been able to rest properly for a while now. Senior disciple decided to head for the nearest town, to take her to a physician. They rode on their horses fast as they could. The old man was in a shock. How did he know that Miss had collapsed? It's already difficult to hear someone taking amidst the sounds of the carriage and the gusts of wind. Soon they arrived at a village. A physician checked on Miss Hay and said she will be fine after a day's rest. They thanked him and the physician left. The old man was relieved that it wasn't anything serious. Senior disciple told to the Grand Master that he should also take rest for a day. My fellow disciples and I will take over the night watch. The old man was worried. He said, how can I rest peacefully while my disciple nephews stand guard at night? I will be a part of the rotation too, so. But the senior disciple refused and said, I appreciate your feelings, but my brothers have dipped their toes into Murim. If you keep worrying over them for every little thing, it will end up being more detrimental for them. You don't need to worry about them since I'm here, so please get some rest. All right, then I'll believe you. If something happens, make sure to let me know. The night falls on the sky. We don't know when they will try to attack us. Always be alert. Brother Kang and Brother Yang will be guarding the Grandmaster's doors. Taeyong and Taiho will be guarding Miss Ha's room alternatively. I will be the standing guard outside the inn. Other disciple worriedly said. Do you plan to stay on guard all night without switching out? Senior disciple told them it's too dangerous to let any of you guard that position since it is where the initial contact with the enemy can be made. They became more worried and said, "That's right, senior disciple. Since the Grandmasters and Miss Ha's rooms face each other, only one person needs to stand there. Instead of worrying about me, make sure you protect Grandmaster and Miss Ha. There's a chance they might be able to slip by me and get inside. I will be sure to send a signal if something happens on my side. Got it?" "Yes, I understand. Be careful, senior disciple." "Good. I'll see you all when we leave in the morning." With that, he went outside in the dark in the cold breeze air and smooth sound of tree leaves. Suddenly the senior disciple spoke. "You have done well to follow after us all the way here." The enemy was in shock. "A fucking lunatic. Did you purposely keep racing nonstop for several hours just to make fun of us?" He mockingly said, "A grown man like you shouldn't act so pathetic just because he had to run a bit." He was thinking in his mind that my fellow disciples run that much every day. He said to them while pickling in his nose with his finger, "Your dangling man parts might feel embarrassed and go into hiding." One of the enemy got furious. "Oh my. Don't tell me you've lost your balls already. In that case, I sincerely apologize. I was already planning on killing everyone but that bitch anyway." He drew out his sword and said furiously, "Now I'll give you the most painful death." And before he could finish the death word out of his mouth, senior disciple swiftly slashed his sword and cut off his head in one swing. Grandmaster is very tired from his arduous schedule. With that, the cut-off head falls on the ground. Let's end this quietly. In this cold, dark night, with that, they all of them attacked on senior disciple at once. But senior disciple was very calm, the blood wolf stronghold. You say? He slashed all of them with a single swift swing at lightning speed. A pack of bloody dogs seems more fitting. His technique was so amazing that the enemy couldn't even react in time. They were all defeated single-handedly by the senior disciple. Then senior disciple looked at the blue moon and said, "Even though there won't be any more people coming after us, I should let them continue the night watch to keep them on their toes." The next morning other disciples came out and they were shocked to see the scene in front of them. Senior disciple, what exactly? I didn't hear anything at all. Senior disciple was sitting beside his sword and the dead bodies were lying in front of him on the ground. Senior disciple was a little disappointed in his enemy. They weren't anyone extraordinary. The Grandmaster and Miss Ha also came out. "Young miss, has your condition gotten better?" She nervously said, "Ah yes, thanks to you." Her mood was a little off. "I'm sorry. I should have tried to endure longer, but I ended up delaying you all for so long." Senior disciple cheered her up and said, "You did more than well enough already. We still have plenty of time left as well. I assume you plan to cut straight through the Yellow River Canyon. By the look on his face, we can also assume that this canyon is full of danger." "That's correct." Missa hurriedly said, "Don't mountain bandits appear there? No matter how strong you might be, you won't be able to handle dozens of them on your own." Senior disciple looked towards his fellow disciples and said, "It will be fine. It's not like I'm alone. I have my fellow disciples with me." There was a weight of fear on their heads. Mountain bandits would be able to stand up against enemies that even the imperial soldiers are reluctant to face. Senior disciple saw their expressions. He started scolding them. "What happened to the confidence you all had before we set off? You'll make the lady anxious if you make those expressions. It seems your training has been lacking. I suppose I should increase the training difficulty by 3 times. They were scared like death is upon them when they heard about training. Not at all. I'm not even the least bit scared. I'm just excited. That's right, Brother Kang. Let's make a wager to see who takes down more mountain bandits." Now they were more terrified from the training than the mountain bandits. They were saying that I'm going to win and I'm going to win. A disciple brought the carriage and said, "I replaced the wheels on the carriage." Senior disciple appreciated him. Then the disciple who brought carriage saw the faces of his fellow disciples and said, "Why is everyone sweating so much?" Well, there is a frightening surprise for him. The scene changes, and we see a person sitting on a mountain. "Oh man, I'm starving." Too many people must have heard that there are mountain bandits in the Yellow River Canyon. I don't even see a shadow of a person. Maybe it's time I give up doing this nonsense and return to my hometown. Then he suddenly saw some people in a distance. He was excited to see the carriage that he quickly ran towards his chief. He shouted while running, "Chief, there is a carriage traveling through. Judging by their company flag, they must be a small merchant group. Is their mountain bandit gang chief, Do. Oh, it's been a while since we had customers. All of the bandits are enjoying it. All right, let's go everyone. It's time to go hunting." Excuse me, Chief, but do you think it could be that Black Devil again? The Black Devil. All of them were overwhelmed by the fear upon hearing the name Black Devil. As you can see in the back, even the horse was frightened and passed out on the floor. They all seem to be afraid of this Black Devil. Who could that be? Please tell us in the comment. The chief shouted, "How can you all still be afraid and dare to call yourselves mountain bandits?" He slammed a heavy punch to his follower. "This happened because you said something so pointless. Did someone plaster the canyon with honey or something? Why would he come through again? Also, the guy said they have a company flag. Do you think that Devil looked even remotely like a merchant? Stop saying such ominous things and prepare to head out." "Yes, sir." And with that they were heading towards the carriage. A disciple noticed something behind him. What's that sound? He looked behind. The mountain bandits were coming towards them very fast. He quickly shouted, "Senior disciple, mountain bandits, what should we do?" He quickly reacted and said, "They'll end up catching up to us because of the carriage. We'll stop here and prepare for battle. Things might get loud. You'll be safe, young miss, so please wait calmly inside and don't come out." The mountain bandits approached very soon. "Well, I'm sure you have a good understanding of your situation, right? Just hand over everything you have, and we'll spare you and let you go." Senior disciple turned towards his fellow disciples and said, "It will be a good opportunity to gain some experience fighting against someone on a horse for the first time. Why don't you all go and be their opponents?" The fellow disciples pulled up some courage and draw their swords. "Come at us." "Opportunity? Be our opponents? Have you all gone crazy?" He got angry. "Go beat some sense into them." And the bandits rushed their horses towards them. The disciples became nervous. They were thinking, "They are coming. Can I do this? What should I do? There's too many of them, and they are on horses." One of them stepped forward. He went forward with courage. "All right, as a first-generation disciple of the Dragon Tiger Martial Academy, I'll step into the field first." One of the bandits came at him swinging his sword on the back of his horse. "You fool, I'll kill you first." The disciple moved very fast, avoiding the sword, and slashed the bandit riding on the horse. He wasn't finished yet. Another bandit attacked him. He quickly jumped into the air and killed this bandit with ease as well. He was fighting furiously with the bandits. His fellow disciple were looking at him. Taeyong's gotten so much stronger than I thought. He held his sword with strong grip. He also got passionate. "We can't keep falling behind a fellow disciple. Let's go too." And they started to attack on the bandits. They were so fearless, they cut each and every one who came in front of them. On the other hand, Old Man and Senior Disciple were watching them and observing them fighting. Old Man was shocked to see what was going on in front of his eyes. But the Senior Disciple was not just looking to fight, he was observing and giving points to the disciples on how they fight. Kang Won Yang, -5 points. Yang Seokjin, -2 points. Jung Tae-ho, I'll give him 3 points. The Grandmaster was so shocked to see the disciples fighting like this. To be able to stand up against mountain bandits. Just what happened at the Martial Academy while I was gone. All of the bandits were being beaten up by the disciples. Their chief was looking at the scene in front of him, and he was angered. "Bastards. Have you all grown weak because you haven't eaten lately? Taeyong was fighting with the bandit when the bandit chief attacked him with a heavy strike. He could not stop the attack and went flying into a rock. His fellow disciple saw this and got worried for Taeyong. The bandit's chief was angry, these bastards running wild. He looked at the other disciples and said, "Now it's your turn." The bandit chief came at them like fire. "I'll slaughter you all." He swung his sword at the students. The disciples were freezed at their spot where they standing. Suddenly the bandit chief was slapped hard that his teeth broke out of his mouth and his eyeballs were coming out. He went flying off of his horse. The Grandmaster was shocked to see this. He knocked away someone of that size with just one hit. But he even defeated the group from the Blood Wolf stronghold easily. Just how strong is he? Taeyong shouted in anger, "You cheap bandit asshole. How dare you hit me from behind? Get up right now, you jerk. Let's finish this." Senior disciple hit him on his head. "You idiot. What are you getting all mad for when you were the one who let your guard down? If the other guys were killed while you were knocked away, were you going to blame it on a sudden attack?" He approached the bandit chief. "In any case, it's good to see you again." His face was all covered in blood. "What? I've never met someone like you before." "You must have forgotten because I hit you too hard back then." "They usually remember, though." "Maybe you'll recognize if I do this." He hit him with his hat. Upon seeing this, the bandit chief was shocked like he has seen a ghost. The black demon. One of the disciples asked the senior disciple, "Do you know this man?" He said, "I passed through here while returning to the martial academy. These guys got in my way back then, so I just punished them lightly." He glared at him with demonic eyes, but it seems like my punishment was too light. The bandit chief was scared to death. "Wait, if I knew it was the young master, I wouldn't have dared to attack you. Please be merciful." Not recognizing me was another one of your mistakes. We were in a hurry and need to travel a long distance, but we wasted so much time, thanks to you. I'll make you take responsibility. It was like demons standing in front of him. Senior disciple make them to escort their party to the end of the Yellow River Canyon. "It's so nice that you all are escorting us like this. None of the other mountain bandits are even approaching us." "Haha. The honor is ours. We will be passing through here regularly, so we'll be in your care." "Yes, of course. Without question. We'll do our best, young master." He was cursing himself. Fuck, 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 fuck. "You're all dead if you dare to move anywhere, or I hear you raided other travelers. Got it? I'll kill you, all right?" "Of course. We would never." Miss Ha was thinking, sitting in her carriage, to be able to turn the mountain bandits who were trying to raid us into escorts. What kind of man is Master Hyeok exactly? Senior disciple saw her. "Did you have something you wished to say?" "I was just worried that you might have gotten injured somewhere." "Fortunately, I'm not hurt anywhere. Thank you for your concern." She shouted loudly, "Wait." Senior disciple looked at her. "Was there anything more you had to say?" "Right, I must tell him clearly how grateful I am. I really want to express my gratitude to you, Master Hyeok. How can I ever repay this great debt?" Senior disciple turned his head. "I'm merely escorting my grandmaster. You should express your thanks to him later." He turned his head back and sped up his horse. Miss Hay couldn't respond to that. After some time they arrived at the end of the Yellow River Canyon. Senior disciple started to chat with Grandmaster. "You must have suffered much during the trip." "What suffering? You all suffered much than I did." The bandit chief thought in his mind. "I was the one who was suffering." Grandmaster told the senior disciple. "You must be hungry, so why don't we go eat? We can take a little break since we're nearly at the meeting location." "Yes, that sounds good." He turned towards the bandit chief. "What are you doing? Now that we're here, you can go." The bandit chief took off, saying, "Oh yes, please have a pleasant trip, young master." The other disciple asked him, Senior disciple, why are you letting those guys off? Then the senior disciple said, they do deserve death for their crimes of threatening and stealing from people. But they don't reek of blood like those from the Blood Wolf stronghold did. When I observed them last time, they were ensuring that their victims crossed the rest of the Yellow River Canyon safely after taking all their money. If I got rid of them, a different group of mountain bandit would take their place. They might even be more evil than them. Those guys seem to pull some weight in the Yellow River Canyon, so it might be better just to let them be. And more than anything else, they remind me of an old fool of a friend. He looked up in the sky. Are you happy there, Banshu? I'm not dead, you lunatic. Anyway, they went to a hotel for some meal. It's a new experience being able to eat food outside Yangzhou County. Senior disciple told them to make sure to eat plentifully. We still have some ways to go until our destination. They heard a loud voice, I am sorry. A waiter accidentally tripped and put some hot drink on a customer. What do you think you are doing? I am so sorry, sir. I accidentally tripped over something and… Senior disciple was observing the scene carefully. Those guys aren't your run-of-the-mill thugs. Most of them are first-rate martial artists. One of them is also probably a peak martial master. What are guys like them doing here? I would have sensed something if they were after Miss Hay. The thug confronts the waiter, pouring hot tea on us. Are you declaring war against the Crimson Killer gang? The waiter was terrified. No, not at all. How could someone like me dare? He told the poor waiter to prove it. The said with a crumbling voice, what can I do to prove? The thug smiled viciously, and he picked up the bowl of food and poured it down on the floor. Eat it. If you eat without leaving a single drop, I'll take it as proof that you have no hostility to the Crimson Killer gang. The poor waiter kneeled down on the floor and was about to eat the food. Suddenly the thug pushed his face with his foot and slammed it into the food on the floor. How do you expect to prove yourself if you keep dawdling like that? You should be grateful that I'm helping you prove your innocence. Upon seeing the scene, the disciples got angry. They wanted to interfere. Senior disciple stopped them and told them to sit there and watch. Just observing will be good training. The next moment they saw one of the thugs flying above them, bleeding from his nose. He flew straight outside the hotel. People were stunned to see what just happened. I didn't want to make a ruckus in a foreign place, but you guys have crossed the line. How about asking me for your precious proof? Who is this girl and why did she do this? Please subscribe our channel and hit the notification button so you will be the first to be notified about the next video. Until then, keep watching our channel.